to Eclipse Games, the podcast where we bring you the latest in gaming news, indie reviews, and everything else under the sun. My name is Kendall, and I'm here with my co-host,
Tony, aka Sausage Link to the Past.
That was terrible. That's
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It was only good
Evidenced
because
by
of
the fact that you immediately went terrible.
yeah, that's only good because of how terrible it is.
Yep.
Sausage link to the past. Honestly, the threshold is if I repeat it back immediately. Like
Yep.
that's the line right there. And I can't deny what just happened. So I'm sorry, folks. That's how we starting this episode off. But now we are back, man. We are here for episode 34, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Shaq numbers.
Yes, sir. Yep, exactly. Back again. It's been a hectic year. Every time we feel like we've gotten all the game of the year contenders and shit out of the way, here
And then shit like
comes
Alan Wake 2.
man, Mario, Spider-Man. Like, it's crazy. It's actually wild. But Alan Wake 2 is actually kind of what prompted this week's episode because that's a game that I'm planning to get into and everything and like give a fair shot. But I didn't play the first one. I tried it out. I didn't really get into it back when it first came out. And I always kind of regretted that. Like the series became so interesting to me, especially with Control coming out, which I loved. I platinumed Control, and it was my game of the year that year. So it really made me wish I had gotten into Alan Wake before. And that prompted the kind of conversation about series and games that we never got into that we always kind of regretted. I know we all have some of those on our list that we hear our friends talk about and we're like, damn, I know I would like this, but I've just never given it a shot. You know what I mean? So I got a nice size list here of games that I just slept on. I don't know if you want to get started or I can just start with Alan Wake if we want to, because that's definitely one.
Yeah, no, since we opened mentioning that, let's just slide right in.
Yeah, because honestly, with survival horror games, I feel like I slept on most of them. Like I didn't play much Silent Hill. I didn't play a lot of Resident Evil till later, just because it's 10 controls. That shit really threw me off. But
Controls are terrible.
yeah, and I mean, we can be honest about it now, right? Since we got the remakes that like fixed the problem. That was the problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's just a sign of the times. And it's like that. Like some of these games that we're gonna list today, they came out in times when we weren't as open-minded. Like genres evolve and make themselves more appealing to more people. So I feel like Alan Wake though was one of those narrative driven, like, it came out at a time when I wasn't super into the idea of like, solving this puzzle or mystery or whatever it is, I guess. And which is crazy to me now because that sounds so amazing. Like this Alan Wake 2 looks incredible and it's going to be high on people's game of the year list this year for sure. But for some reason it just never drew me in. Let me see. I feel like with that in mind, I can actually throw Silent Hill into that list as well because I ain't really get into Silent Hill like that. Like I played a little bit of two, but again, another series where I just kind of fell
I think
off.
I played one.
Mm.
I
OG
played
PS1
one.
days.
Yeah. Yeah, I played one and then I played two at a friend's house. But like I didn't really care about them like that
Right.
because they were like more than Resident Evil. Like Silent Hill was kind of about the story more than Resident Evil was. So at that
Mm-hmm.
point, like in my life, I was playing video games. I'm like, I don't feel like doing all this like slow atmosphere walking shit. Like
Exactly.
I don't need that
Man,
right now.
that's the thing. Like learning to appreciate those games and what they bring to the table, like narratively, it kind of opens your mind. I guess we had to grow up a little bit and it's not even like a fault to us as kids. We were looking for great gameplay.
Yeah.
Like that was the priority. So but I'm glad that we kind of get to a point where I can appreciate that. Sony has made it their mission statement to make us appreciate those type of fucking narrative games. So I'm with it now. All right. So what's first on your list as far as shit you've never got into?
Number one. And I guess what I'm picking on this list is from stuff that either I would have liked to have gotten into because I thought I might like it, or stuff that I would like to be able to like.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Fire Emblem is number one on that list.
I almost
And
included
it
that.
has nothing to do with the game itself. It's just the genre. I cannot get into the tactics like grid-based strategy RPG. I've played so many of them and never felt like this is my shit.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing, it's like, and I've said this before to people, like, if I tell you I don't fuck with something, I have put in the time to not fuck with it.
Mm. I mean, that's fair.
Fire
That's fair.
Emblem, Advance Wars, Final Fantasy Tactics, a couple smaller indie titles, like that genre I have tried because I love RPGs. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't fuck with this.
Right.
Like that genre is like the J. Cole of video games for me. J. Cole can rap his fucking ass off. There's
Mm-hmm.
no reason I shouldn't fuck with his music. You know me. I'm a lyricist motherfucker. I like motherfuckers
Absolutely.
that can rap.
100%.
And his music don't hit. I know he can rap. The same thing with the Fire Emblem. I know the shit fire.
Yeah.
I just some don't click with me, man. And I just
It,
can't do it.
honestly, it'd be like that. J. Cole is an interesting comparison. You about to have me get going off on some hip hop shit. Because that is one of those, like, this dude does nothing but mind his business and rap his ass off. And if it just
That's
don't
it.
like if it just
That's
don't click
it.
for you though. And even as like somebody who honestly, Cole has reached like the top to me.
Oh
Like,
no,
I mean
no,
that
his pen is fucking disgusting. There is
yeah. He
there's
might be
no doubting it.
when you combine skill and like level, like career level in the game, he might be the guy right now. Like, I mean, Kendrick been quiet, you know what I mean? We all know what Kendrick capable of, but I feel that. Like even with that said, me having that appreciation for him is a style to his music. And if it don't hit for you, then I get it. Like I get it. Same with like a Big Sean. Like I fuck with Big Sean. Like I think Big Sean makes great music. If it doesn't hit for you, doesn't hit for you. Same goes
Right.
over tactical, strategy RPGs and stuff like that. I I didn't really get into Final Fantasy Tactics either. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, making that statement right there felt like I was at an AA meeting. Like, am I ready to admit this right now? Like, it didn't hit for me like that.
Because like that's
But
the one. Final Fantasy Tactics is
man,
the one.
and I can tell. Like, I had it on PSP, which is like the War of the Lions or whatever the fuck it's called. It was like the definitive version. I had the cutscenes. The cutscenes are gorgeous. Like, I couldn't wait to play it, and I just fell off. Like, there's something about you know what I think it is? Turn-based RPGs, the battles feel slow, but they're like 2 minutes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like a strategy RPG, you sitting there and like having a small skirmish. Like you actually gonna do this for like a little hot second. So maybe the pacing is just kind of hard to grasp. That's why I remember talking a few episodes ago about a game called Into the Breach. It's a strategy game where you play like you get three mechs. It's very simple, simplified if you want to put it that way. You get three mechs to start off, and eventually you unlock different types of mechs. Like you'll have like a big tanky dude. You'll have one that's long range, just shoots artillery but can't really fight up close. And then you'll have one that's like maybe it's it's the most mobile one, like it jumps around, or maybe it's a fighter jet. Like I used to put the jet on, and you get to kind of mix and match your three mechs. That's all you get. It's just three, and you go to a grid. It's like a small continent. Each segment of the continent is a different level. So like you pick which level you want to do based on the objectives. It's like 5, 7 turns. You know what I mean? Like everything is quick.
Right.
I played this game on mobile a lot. It's on if you have Netflix, you have the game because it's in Netflix's game category. You know how they do they have a bunch of games on there that you should check out. Like Oxenfree is on that bitch. But yeah, play that game because it got me in. That's one that got me because of the bite-sized nature of it. And another one that got me was Valkyria Chronicles. Are you hip to Valkyria Chronicles at all?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah. Another one that's like this is a strategy RPG for people that don't quite like strategy RPGs because it's like halfway first person shooter. You know what I mean? You're running around in real time. Instead of having a grid, you have a stamina bar, and you can just go wherever you're able to make it to. Don't fuck around and get caught running out of stamina in the middle of like the most populated pathway in the game because people are just gonna start shooting at you, and you like. But it is turn based. Like when you decide you want to go into combat mode, you pull out your gun, you select who you want to shoot at, where you want to aim, and say you're like a scout. Scouts have like a little rifle. It's 5 shots. You shoot 5 times. You have a certain like likelihood to hit. Like if you aim their head, you might hit 2 of those 5 shots. But if you're aiming at the body, your reticle is like, small enough that you're gonna hit all your shots. And there's like a deep level of strategy to it. Some people are like, some people pilot tanks, or some people are, scouts so they can run far, but their weaponry is short. And some people are like, more combat heavy, so they got like little machine guns, but they can't run at all. So you got like a little short, you gotta kind of keep having them hop forward step by step to keep up with the scouts and protect them and shit. And that joint got me. Like that game really, really got me on the PS3. So that's another one that I would recommend for anybody interested in strategy games.
Yeah, I guess I
So
got another one to try out, but man, like I said, I didn't try so much shit, and I don't know what like I said, maybe like you said, it's a pacing thing.
yeah,
And it's because that's the thing with like the difference between because like the pacing of a regular turn-based RPG feels so straightforward,
right. You always know where you're going.
and yeah, like I would compare that to like a turn-based RPG is like starting a game and getting 40 minutes and playing the whole game. And a strategy RPG is like coming off the bench 20 minutes into the game and going, yeah, we need you to give us 15. I'm like, nigga, I'm cold.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Like
you gotta give me a second.
I get that for sure. The thing about RPGs too, like you working toward like when you're going to get rewarded. Like rewards in RPGs are cutscenes. You are
Right.
legitimately like, if you don't like turn-based shit, if you're not into the strategy, you are slugging your way through this shit so that you can see what's happening next. Like
Yeah.
that's how it be. Like when I'm 8, I don't give a fuck about strategizing. I'm pressing A, attack, 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 attack. If this ain't working, I don't know. I might have to
They
look something up on
switch
Game
to some
Facts.
magic for a second,
You know what I mean? Does fire work? Oh no. Does ice work? Oh, I'm going down the list. I'm fucking
Yeah.
9.
Let me
Um,
throw some potions real quick so I can try some
facts,
more of these attacks.
facts. Hopefully, I don't forget to heal up and shit, like or bring all these potions and Phoenix Downs and whatnot.
Dog, have
But
you forgot to do that? You forget to heal
oh my
in the middle of
god!
some shit, and then you look
And
up and
then
everybody's got like single digit HP.
it's like it's an RPG from back then, so the checkpointing is terrible. Like
Yeah. Now
you
you're
can't get
wasting
back.
10 turns healing people at 30 HP apiece,
Man,
and it ain't doing shit.
hell yeah! Like I hate the scaling of potions in most of these games because potions become useless like 3 hours in. And it's just like, okay, if I want to fucking pump you full of these, I can heal you, I guess.
But that's the weird thing is like you have such a limited stock of potions early on, and then there's like a point where you're like level 20, level 25, and now you have
Yep,
like 600 of them, and it's not
yep.
even an issue.
And it's like it's pointless. Now you're
You start selling the motherfuckers to get a little extra money so you can buy that
facts.
sword you want.
Yeah, but if they hip enough, they made them bitches worth 10 gil. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
they gotta account for inflation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That shit
man.
gets crazy. But
Fuck up the economy.
speaking of RPGs though, man, I'll throw out one that's I wish I'd gotten into earlier because I played a little bit. I'm with you as far as Tales of Symphonia goes. Like I love that game back in the day. Had it on GameCube.
Whole Tale series.
Man, I know that I would love those games, and I haven't played much of them at all. Symphonia was like the one that I actually, but that's kind of like only playing Final Fantasy VII. You know what I mean? Like what?
Right.
This is
Vesperia
crazy.
is incredible.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard so many good things about it, and
But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you missing out on a few. I mean, there's some iffy ones like there isn't any long running franchise, but
yeah,
the
yeah.
ones that hit, the motherfuckers hit.
I believe it, man. And I still plan to go back. Like so many of them are like on Game Pass or whatever now. So I still plan to go back and kind of give them their due. Like, but I want to have that time. The fact that was Vesperia the one that just got DLC announced like 3 years later? Like
No, which one was that?
it was a
That a Reese?
relatively recent one.
Was that Tales of
Maybe
Reese? It might have been that, but I don't think Vesperia did.
yeah, but
Unless they not releasing it on the Switch, because I got the definitive version on Switch.
mm, yeah, I'm not sure. But whatever, the fact that that game was out for years and got some additional content, it's like y'all really care about the series. Like y'all really are still playing. Like if you have another story to tell, you're gonna tell it. That wasn't
Yeah.
a money move, right? Like that was
Right.
that was
That
some creative
was
shit.
they came up with something and was like, yo, let's just add it to this.
Right. Like who's the install base is probably plummeted by now. This doesn't make sense financially, really. I
Right.
mean, who's to say that? I guess because I don't know. We've seen DLC like straight up DLC this late, aside from maybe Borderlands 2, which was promotion for Borderlands 3. You know what I mean? But
Right. Yeah, it was
that's the
Tales of
only.
Marie, so that's what I thought it was it.
Mm, yeah, yeah. So like the fact that they're doing something like that, really, I respect the fuck out of that, and I really want to check it out. Uh, Another one that I had on here, what is Dragon Age. Dragon Age. I
Oh, really?
so I got into Dragon Age at Inquisition. I played through Inquisition, loved it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
went
that's
back.
the
Yeah, that's the one that got everybody in. You know what I mean? But Origins, I already know.
two is the
Like,
classic.
really okay. That's
Yeah,
because I've
two
heard.
Origins is like the Origins is like Mass Effect 1.
Hmm. Which I
It's
love.
solid, it's dope,
Yeah,
but 2 was the one where like they figured that shit out. So two is the
interesting.
classic.
You have that is an unpopular opinion. Like I've heard a lot
I
of
look,
people.
man, I
Yeah,
I know. I'm
yeah.
telling you,
That's
two
interesting.
is the classic.
I mean, I plan to. My cousin is like a huge Dragon Age fan, probably more so than Mass Effect. Like my man does not. My man is the type of dude that like it's gonna be 2K most of the time, but when it's some nerd shit, it's like
It's deep
he'll
nerd shit.
this motherfucker will tell you the religions in that bitch. Like you know what I mean? Like it gets
I
crazy,
respect
but
it.
yeah, like so. Dragon Age is one that he's like, if I'm pressing this dude to play like shit like Final Fantasy, he would probably give me like a cool $5 bill if I was like, I'll play Dragon Age Origins. Just I'll just give that game a solid playthrough. So it's high on my list of like games that I still want to go revisit, but I'm trying to hold out in case they remake it. It feels like it's prime for a remake, right?
Right.
That'd be a perfect one, especially after I saw what happened with Mass Effect. You don't necessarily have to do it that way. Like you can give it a real remake if you want to, but even if you just polished it up and made some quality of life improvements, I'm on that for sure.
Look, they don't need to touch another motherfucking remake until they give me Jade Empire back.
I feel you. I feel that. And you know, I was expecting you to say till they give us Mass Effect 4. And I agree
No,
with both of
no.
those.
Yeah. I mean, look, I they got the A team on Mass Effect 4, so I'm pretty
Yep.
confident in that. But I don't want to
Yep.
see another motherfucking Ultimate Edition of nothing until we get Jade Empire back. That's all
Feel
I
that.
want, man. Just remaster the first joint. Like it's been
Mhm.
long enough. Most of the
Yeah.
motherfuckers that's around to play it that had played it is our age and been asking for it back. Everybody else ain't played it.
Right. Right. And on that note, another game on my list is Jade Empire. I've always wanted to get into that game. It was Xbox. You know what I mean? I was PlayStation.
Yeah.
That's all that stopped me there. But that's one of those. Oh, you took this formula I love and put it in a setting I actually want to fuck around in. Like
So
I'm I'm so much more into that type of shit than I am like you know Dragon Age is like high fantasy or even Mass Effect space shit. I love space shit, but that joint should be the one for me. I want a sequel, low key, or something like anything.
yeah, any little bit, just a crumb or something. Man.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Just a crumb.
That I got niggas begging
All
out
right.
here. This is sad.
So you're gonna kill me for this one.
But,
Persona.
yeah, that's a rough one.
I have tried Persona games.
Mm,
It's not. This isn't a Fire Emblem situation.
okay.
It's a like I played it for a little bit and then I put it down and picked something back up. So I
Yeah.
haven't really like dug into it.
Okay.
I
Okay.
feel like I would fuck with it. Like
You would.
just based on what I've seen, I feel like I would fuck with it. But it's one that I just haven't actually taken the time. I have a copy of P2 on PlayStation 2.
Wow. Me too though. Damn.
Yeah, I just never fucking played it.
Yeah, but see, so I'm not even really hip to the first two. I got a friend again who's like real into it, and he broke down like I think one and two are actually like sequels to one another. You know, two is like a straight up sequel to one. But three is when it becomes like you ain't got to play two to understand three. You ain't got to play four. You ain't got to
Right.
play. You know, they're all standalone. But and then three feels like a breakout moment. You know what I mean? Like three was the one. Three was the first one I played back in the PS2 days. So that's where I got. That's when I was just in full blown. Oh, it's Japanese. Yeah, give me that. So I just fucking bought it and like it gave me all my like super weeb fantasies. Like I was I don't know if that's a messed up term to use, but it gave me all my like,
Is
super
weeb a negative term now?
I don't know. I'm just being careful. It's 2023. But
So I was like, like, damn.
I don't know. It's like a weird term. I don't like to shame people even if they're interested. I like Japanese shit. I love Japanese shit. So this is it's a weird term to me, but
Dog, I be feeling like an old man yelling in the cloud when motherfuckers be mad about certain words. I'll be like, hold on, wait, that's bad now?
yeah.
But it's what it is.
Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes I don't agree with it. And I just don't say the word because what is it hurting me to not say this word?
Yeah.
But in any case, I bought Persona just off some super nerdy. I like anime and manga shit, and I want to be a kid in Japan. And guess what? That game's about being a fucking kid in Japan. You get to go to school, like you get to date people and shit, like make friends, and then you go kill fucking monsters, and it's like a mature Pokemon themed after like mythologies. So like all the gods are like based around, and I mean like not just mythologies. Like you got Jack Frost in that bitch just as much as you got like Beowulf or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like whatever the fuck, whatever inspiration they want to draw from, they will draw from it. And it's dope. It's fucking fire. It's just gonna take you 100 hours. Like, no
Oh, you know,
exaggeration.
I've heard, I've heard that those games are insanely long.
Like, I mean, like one playthrough of Persona 5, the shorter one, not Royal, was 125. That's where I clocked in when I beat that joint. It's crazy. And I didn't do
I ain't
everything.
got the
Like I
time
didn't
time on my hands, bro.
Listen, I feel that stops me from getting into a lot of these. We're gonna get into some stuff on this list, like any MMO, like anything I've listed up here that's like a MMO or time
Dog,
sink like that.
World of Warcraft,
Yeah,
have not touched it.
me neither. I've never played it,
And I
which is
know
crazy.
I would like it. Because like World of Warcraft is one of those games where it didn't make sense for me not to have played it.
Right?
Because that was the era when niggas was on online forums. You remember Camp Nintendo? I
Yeah,
think that's what's nigga. I had a rep on that motherfucker.
that's dope. That's
Niggas knew
awesome.
me.
Yeah, I
Like,
respect.
you know what I mean? Like World of
I was
Warcraft should
on
have been right up my motherfucking alley.
mine since we got to talk about this for a hot second. Mine was Game Facts. I was on Game Facts heavy. I still know
Yeah, I remember.
motherfuckers
Yeah.
from Game Facts. Like so, yeah, but
Like
not
that.
work. Yeah,
That should have been it, man. That should have
yeah,
been the one. But
man.
I just never got into it. And I think the thing of it was the requirement to sit at my computer because it wasn't like I had my own computer. It was a shared computer in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So having to talk to people and the computers in the fucking living room next to the TV with my parents. Like
Yeah,
I just
yo,
want to game in peace. I don't want to
right,
be bothered. I want to be asked to get up and get some Kool-Aid, even though you're closer to the
man.
kitchen than I am. You know what I
Yes,
mean? Like,
facts.
nah. So it
My
was like stuff
man,
like that would stop me from playing shit on my PC.
you just brought back so many traumatizing ass memories.
Nick,
It
you know how
was
many
it was
times
a
I've been called out my room and watched my parents walk through the kitchen talking about, can you make some Kool-Aid?
bro. There was a theme. There was a running joke in my house of like y'all had us to fetch drinks, didn't you? That's why you had kids.
Nigga,
Like it's crazy.
I don't be
Listen,
asking Aria to do shit.
ye- yet. I mean, I ain't saying that she,
Look, it ain't happening, bro. It ain't
okay,
happening.
I
It
respect it.
ain't
I
happening.
respect it. But nah, I
I'll
feel
trip.
that
I'll trip and fall down the steps before I ask that girl to get something for me.
listen, that's the right way to do it. That's the right way to do it. I'm gonna holler at you in like 10 years though. I'm gonna just check. I'm gonna just check. Maybe
You know me,
grab some
nigga. I'm
other.
stupid. If I
You
say I
are.
ain't gonna do some shit, I ain't gonna do it.
I feel like if anything, this conversation is gonna make it so it will never happen. Like this conversation in
Nigga,
particular.
who my favorite basketball player?
Hey, listen, yeah.
It's the same mentality, nigga.
Yep,
You
yep,
gonna
hell
tell me
yeah.
I no okay no
It's over.
now it ain't
Now it's over, yep.
happening.
But no, as far as WoW goes, two things. I feel like we forget about the factor of our internet was shit back then. Like we did
Yeah,
not have good connections. I'm still going through shit. My connection right now is fucked up. So
dog. We had internet where your grandma called to say hi and fuck your game up.
man, yes, like literally. I mean,
Niggas don't know, but like niggas take for granted the fact that you can hop on the phone. Why you playing somebody in 2K and it ain't no problems?
You do not understand the
Did,
reality of that
did your
shit,
family
yo.
have call wave?
No,
Most
we
useless
didn't.
shit on the planet.
Call
They
wave.
was
It was
charging motherfuckers for call wave, and you would set it up with your internet. And what it would do is basically caller ID for the internet. It didn't stop your internet connection from getting kicked. It just told you somebody was calling.
wow. That is not something that should be paid for.
Like, but this was already after caller ID when everybody had them pan bricks connected.
Yeah,
This was
yeah.
after that. All
That's
it did
crazy.
was a little pop up window that came up on your screen and with a black screen and white type, just show you who was calling. That's it. Didn't
Bruh,
stop it from getting disconnected. Just told you who was calling.
I know we are kind of like in the era of like scamming and like, bullshit emails and stuff, but there was a golden era for scamming ass motherfuckers out here where you didn't have to be a thief. You could just make a product that was some bullshit, but it was online. Like if you put the word
Yep.
online on that shit, it's doing gangbusters. It's crazy.
Yep.
But that with that being said, yeah, those janky internet days definitely stopped me. And also, I feel you on the multiplayer thing. Like I told you I'm never a big multiplayer guy in general. And that's because gaming was kind of like an isolated experience for me. Like this is how
That's a
I
fact.
this is how I experience stories. You know what I mean? Like this is like reading for me. I just that's why I'm more of a PlayStation guy because I just want to kind of experience something dope. Whereas
That's why
other
I still
people,
go to the movies by myself.
and it makes fucking sense. Why am I sitting in this room in silence for 2 hours with company? Why is that more weird than sitting by myself? I'm not trying to talk. I don't
Nigga,
understand.
yeah,
We
staying
touching
here
on
and motherfuckers talking a movie. You know how mad I was the entire end game,
oh yeah,
like the
yeah.
entire movie.
I'm not gonna lie,
Pissed.
bro. I I was emotional. I was gonna be one of those people. I think I was the first person to say "fuck yeah" when he grabbed the hammer. No spoilers,
Nigga,
but that shit was real.
right. Nigga, when he
I
said
actually,
assemble and he whispered it, but I couldn't hear it because everybody knew what was coming when he said Avengers. Like,
nah, that shit.
everybody shut the. You know what line pissed, and this is what pissed me off. Infinity War. When Thor came down and screamed, "Bring me
Bring me
Thanos,"
Thanos,
I
yeah.
did not hear it because everyone was yelling. That's the coldest line in MCU history, and
That
I
was
didn't
that.
hear it.
Damn, that's actually unfortunate. That is because I had the perfect audience, I guess, for these movies because they would have the straight up like right after the moment happens round of applause type shit. Like it was like
I can get with
yeah,
that.
yeah. It was beautiful. Man, we in that bitch weeping, open mouth weeping. This shit was real together, nigga, as a family. Like I don't know these people. That shit got crazy.
Ooh, man, that silence at the end of Infinity War. No
Man,
music on the credits. It was just it. And nigga, you thought for real somebody had died in the room.
right. And it's wild because we knew they was all coming back. Like, okay, you're gonna kill
Nigga,
off 80% of your cast. Nah, they coming back in the next movie. This is part one. But we was really like,
that yeah,
yo, I can't
that
wait for this
the
shit.
end of Infinity War is some shit I've never experienced in a movie theater in my life. That was
And never
crazy.
will. Never will again. That was a moment in time for sure. For sure. You know what? Speaking of which, let me see if I have any so I don't have any real you know, single player superhero games here, but I do have Marvel Ultimate Alliance here. And that's
As you
because
should.
I slept on that series hard. It kind of was in the vein. I slept on like all of that type of gameplay, like the Diablos, and because that's what it reminded me of, like the
Did you play X-Men
gauntlets.
Legends?
I've played it. I didn't have,
Okay.
any of it in those lines. I was looking for that single player. Let me play as this guy, or even switch between people more so than that, like team of people or a bunch of abilities. That's another thing that threw me off about MMOs. But like that cooldowns used to throw me off about video games. I know that sounds weird now,
Bro, when you can't spam the button, you sitting there like, why is nothing happening, nigga?
bro.
Because you got 10 more seconds.
Yeah. I just did not like that click and watch it happen gameplay loop up. And I mean, like every game you click and watch it happen, right? I had to break
Right.
that mentality out of my head, but it used to really throw me off, and that made me sleep on a great series. I'm really mad that I haven't played those.
Shit, I think you can get them. You might still be able to get them on PSN.
Possibly.
There
Oh,
was a
like
point
for
where you could. I don't know if they
hmm.
took them down. I think they was talking about taking them down, but there was a point where you can get both of them because I snatched them up as soon as they dropped.
Oh yeah, I might have to check that out because I need to play those. I'm in heavy Marvel mode right now. I
Oh
have to
yeah,
do.
that's perfect.
Man, I gotta finish Spider-Man 2 first though, because
Because
goddamn, what a
two is
video game.
basically the whole Civil War storyline.
That's awesome. That's dope as fuck. And then I'm at the point where I'm so much more into Marvel now than I ever was before.
Like, you're gonna love
Man,
that shit.
brief side note, I want to get the next game on your list after this, but you play Marvel Snap at all?
No, I still have not. It's on my phone. I still have not touched it.
That
A lot
game,
of that, a lot of that also has to do because I'm still a little salty. I ain't get a job with them. So with second
ah,
dinner, I apply with second dinner. I ain't get it, so I'm like, let me take a
man.
second. Let me
Yeah,
just
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
second.
I ain't gonna lie. That joint has had me hooked for a while. Like, that's a great game.
But I've heard it is fucking incredible, and I have every intention of actually playing it.
Yeah, yeah. I ain't gonna speak too much on it then. I don't wanna delve into my addictions on the air here, but
This is the hard thing. This is the hard thing about playing games now and trying to get into the gaming industry because motherfuckers
mm,
be rejecting me for jobs, and I'll be like, I don't want to play your game right now.
gotta
I know
give it
that
gotta
shit.
give us
I
some
know that
breathing
shit
room.
fire, but I need 2 weeks, man. I need 2 weeks. I don't want to play.
Gotta give us some breathing
No,
room.
yeah.
Listen.
Like, and like,
I
it's
get it.
not y'all. It's me. I'm competitive. I hate losing. It's just it's how I'm wired. It's not y'all.
Hey man. Once you do jump into it though, once that subsides, you're gonna be like, I made some pretty fire shit here. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, you know,
I,
I already know what it's gonna be.
yeah. Yeah, but
All
what's
right.
next? What's next on your list? Yeah.
Next on my list, Yakuza.
That's on my
I
list
have
as well.
I have not never played a Yakuza game, and I think I have Like a Dragon downloaded on my
Hmm.
PlayStation. I think that was free on PSN Plus not too long ago. I
Yeah.
have that one, and I think I have Zero, and I just have not touched them.
Kind of hilarious that you
Um,
have the latest and the earliest ones. That's funny.
dog, I don't know. Again, love Grand Theft Auto,
hmm
loved Sleeping Dogs. I should be playing this, and
Now,
again, I know I'm going to play it at some point, but it's just like I just never touched it.
it's definitely worth delving in, especially if like with those being your touchstones. Yakuza definitely has its own feeling. Like it doesn't even feel like an open world. It's more like a small playground. Like every other building has shit to do, and it's
You
really
know what
unique.
it feels like? Because just from watching some of the gameplay,
hmm
did you play Shenmue?
Yeah, yeah. That's an app comparison.
That's what it feels like. And I love
hmm
Shenmue.
Yeah, I
I
love.
was one of the motherfuckers waiting for three, and when they announced that Kickstarter, I was hyped.
Yeah, and then that happened, But
Yeah, yeah.
I bought Shenmue like really late in the game on some like video game history shit. Like I have to try this game. So I didn't get it in a time where it was still modern, which means it ain't hit for me. You know what I mean? You know how
Yeah,
Shenmue is.
no, you
Yeah,
talking
you know
about
how.
granddaddy of QTEs,
Yeah, yeah.
basically.
So it
Yeah,
was
nah.
like
If you ain't played in the moment,
right.
you play it now. You looking around like this. The fuck y'all was like. It's like watching The Exorcist now. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like when The Exorcist dropped, it was the shit.
That
It
shit was
was
crazy, bro.
iconic, like top tier. But you watch
hmm
it like if your first time watching it is like 30 years old now, you're looking at older folks like, fuck is wrong with y'all?
It scared you, bro. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's
nice.
still like a good movie on its
Yeah,
face now, but it don't hit the way everybody said it hit then. But that's, time does that.
right, exactly. And that's exactly what happened there, Um, it's funny though with Yakuza. I've talked about it before. I had Yakuza 1 and 2 on PS2 back in the day. Again, same time period I played Persona. Ask me why I played it. It takes place in Japan. I'm like, this is fascinating to me. I want to play that shit. Anytime you give me like a chunk of life in Japan, I'm like, hell yeah, that sounds dope. And that's what Yakuza is. Like you are a member of the Yakuza. You just run around. The story, that's the thing that you don't see in like trailers and like shit like that. Like you might see it if you watch somebody play it, but man, the story is actually fucking good. Like it's actually gets really interesting. There's a lot of twists and turns, and like you'll kind of give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like about what happens to him, man. Especially Kiryu was my guy. Like I know there's a new protagonist, but you will give a fuck. And then the gameplay is tried and true beat 'em up gameplay. Like it's if you like a good, it kind of has an arcadey feel to it. It's kind of dope. It's kind of
It looks
unique.
very like 3D Streets of Rage.
Exactly. And like again, small like the battles, even before it went turn-based, which it is now, the battles kind of like were like you run into people and then it turns into battle mode. And it's like a small area where it's like you and a couple people. So feels very small and isolated. And I mean, unless you're going in like a mission or whatever. So man, those are some special ass games that's hard to sell people on if they haven't played them. But it has that same charm that like Persona has. I feel like.
Do you know what's next on my list? And niggas are gonna take my PlayStation card for this one.
Okay.
Gran Turismo.
That's a good one. That's a good one. They'll
And
take my whole PlayStation for this because I don't even have an interest in getting this shit. Like,
I I love racing games, but I
mm,
don't love overly realistic. Like I don't want to
exactly,
follow the fucking line.
exactly,
Like I don't want to
exactly.
have to worry about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even Forza to an extent has that, but it's still a little more they've gone a little more arcadey.
Oh yeah. You just
And I
gotta play
get Gran
motorsport.
Turismo was supposed to be like the like simulation, like the 2K of driving. And I be trying, dog. I be trying because it is insanely beautiful. It's one of the
Yeah.
most beautiful games. Every single one that drops
Facts.
looks incredible each and every single time. You go back to the PlayStation ones, even they look good. Like you go back to PS1 and it looked like some PS2 shit.
Facts. 100%.
It's incredible, but I just can't get into straight up simulation driving. I just don't want to get into the technical aspects of the shit.
Yeah.
So I just be like, you know, I leave it over there.
I'm I'm the exact same way. Like it does interest me, don't get me wrong, but I have no like delusions about the fact that I would never get good at that shit. That's such
Yeah.
a technical series. Like
Yeah, like
and
you really got to pay attention to everything.
yeah, yeah. And
And
honestly, I feel like
I ain't got that.
I did get into Forza Horizon heavy. Like Forza Horizon 4 like latched me on when I first got my laptop. I was playing a bunch of Game Pass shit, and that was all I was playing for like a couple months because that joint is like it's way more burnout than Gran Turismo. You know what I mean? Like the Horizon series
Yes.
is that serious,
Yeah,
but
that's what I want out of my racing. I want
right. But then
just
you
drop
have
me in a car and let me go fast, man.
exactly. Then you have Forza Motorsport, which is the Gran Turismo competitor, and
Right.
they know what they are. Like they know what they're doing. I would like to be good at that shit, but if
I
I'm gonna
would
get good
too.
at it, I'm gonna get into it. Like I'm trying to be the dude from the movie that becomes a race car driver for real. Like shit's crazy. Like that. The fact that that happens just tells you how fucking technical that shit is.
Yeah, you can actually get into the real car and make it work.
Yeah,
That's pretty nuts.
I wouldn't have anywhere. Just the fact that you have an idea of where to start based on this video game is nuts. Because I'm telling you, I get in that joint and be like, "Yo, I forget how to drive." Like it's just complete just brain part. I promise you. Too many buttons. Too many buttons.
I might like it more if I use the wheel. I think that might do it because
Thought
I
about
love
that too.
driving.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And that would be fun. Um, it's just about getting over that hump, like that fucking skill hump, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna bring up mine that's along those lines too. And I've talked about this at length, especially on the episode that was themed around it, and that's sports games in general. Like, so my history with them is very like spotty and complicated or whatever. I played, the anything arcadey like NFL, NBA Streets. I played a little bit of NFL 2K5. Every now and then I'll get a 2K and run a career because there's a great basketball game in there. Then the bullshit makes me bounce like immediately. I did it with they put 2K23. I think I was playing on a PS Plus,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
started my career and I was having fun. And I'm just like, if I gotta skip another fucking bullshit ass fake GTA cutscene,
Right.
like my god, I'm not going to another training. Like I'm not doing none of this shit.
All we have been asking for is a regular career mode.
Like how's this complicated, bro? Like it's
I haven't played 24 yet. They built the whole like advertising around it. It was like we're just going back to basketball. So I don't know how much story they cut out just in
no,
favor.
yeah,
But
yeah,
dog, the Spike Lee era and they started getting it. Nah. Oh,
absolutely not.
I don't need all that, man.
Absolutely not. I feel like 2K24 was actually the one I played. I'm pretty sure I was playing the one with Devin Book on the cover, but um, yeah, if that's the case, they still got that bullshit. Like they don't listen to it. Like don't
Yeah,
believe
I
it.
didn't think so.
Yeah, yeah. But even still, like on the opposite end, like Madden, you know what I mean? Like I found out I discovered my love for sports in my 20s, you know what I mean? So I kind of skipped a lot of that in my teenage years. And getting into it later in life, I've been like trying to kind of delve a little bit deeper into it. I wish I'd have got into them earlier so that I could just have that fundamental understanding. Because there's like a base level of like, oh, you play this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
see, the thing that I've always said about Madden is it's more realistic than people give it credit for.
mhm.
Like the issue I've always had with Madden is that people will buy the new one and then they'll get on the internet and turn the sliders down and do a bunch of weird shit and go, see, this game suck. And
Yeah,
everybody will just like parrot that shit. And I'm like, you can very clearly see you can't just run around like that and not fumble the ball
thanks.
and not get tired. You turning the fatigue down, you turning the fumbles down. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you doing all this shit just so you could get these videos off. Now them shits be
Mhm.
releasing buggy sometimes and it be some
Yeah.
wild ass shit in it. But the best example I can give to anybody who thinks that Madden isn't realistic is I wish I could remember dude's name, but he drops videos on like TikTok and Instagram. He was a
Mhm.
backup quarterback in NFL for like 4 or 5 years,
Hmm.
and he is literally running people off of the fucking game doing NFL concept shit. He'll be like, "Look, I'm gonna run him up the seam. I'm gonna do a clear out route over here,
Yeah,
and
that's
watch
fine.
what their defense do, and it does exactly what he says it's going to do."
That's fine.
That's a motherfucker who played in the league.
Yeah, and that's a
He's telling you, I can do league shit in this game and it's going to work
right.
exactly how it's supposed to work.
Putting your real world knowledge of playing in the league into a simulator and having it simulate what the fuck you saying is going to happen. There's nothing else you can say to me about realism than
Nigga,
that.
that's it.
That's
I mean,
I'm
a lot
and
of what I learned about football came from Madden, like, yeah,
exactly.
watching the games and stuff like that. But learning what cover two is, learning the difference between cover two and cover three,
Mm-hmm.
all of that shit came from playing Madden.
Yeah, but that's how that goes, you know. And I missed out on that. I'm like learning the opposite direction. Like I'm learning from the game and like trying to apply it to Madden and like catch myself up. But it's funny that you say that. Another example of that is Tyreek Hill saying, "Yeah, I don't do any like scouting on players. I just go look at their rating on Madden because it's pretty accurate." Like he was like, if they got so and so speed on Madden and they do this, that, and the third, like I'm like, okay, that literally is how the best wide receiver in the league is prepping for games. Like that
Yeah,
tells you
I mean,
everything.
the thing, like, 2K's ratings be kind of janky.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I think Steph was a 92 this year, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah,
But
wow.
Madden tends to be pretty solid.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Nobody's
year to year,
perfect, but yeah.
the ratings tend to hit. Like if a
Right.
motherfucker is like if your quarterback is like an 82, you're probably winning 11 games.
Right. Right.
You
Might
know
have
what I
Kirk
mean?
Cousins. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You probably winning 11 games.
Yeah.
You know, and then you get a motherfucker like Jalen Hurts. I think they bumped him up to like an 87 to start this season. I think it was an 87.
Mm.
That motherfucker just won 13 games last year.
Right.
Sounds
Right.
good.
Facts. We fuck around to do it again. This thing is gonna be like a 92, and that's gonna feel about right.
Yeah,
You know. But
yeah, but they're on point with that.
yeah, yeah, I feel that absolutely. All right, so I know we kind of getting longer in the episode now. It's a couple more than I know. We probably both want to get off. One that I want to throw out there. Again, I've talked about it on content before, but Legacy of Kain. That
Nigga,
series.
that was gonna be one of my
Oh yeah, yeah. That's just a cool fucking series, right? Like that shit just looks dope. I don't know shit about it. In fact, I looked up some stuff like about like the early game and like how the story of Kane and whatever his name is, the character from Soul
Azrael.
Reaver. Yeah, I didn't want to say it wrong, but yeah, um, looking up like the lore and like any game where like the main character of one game becomes the villain of the next game is going to have me interested. Like, so that
Yeah,
shit fire. I really wish they would make a new
because
one or remake or something.
I watched like the walkthrough for both games. I
Mm,
still haven't played. I want to play them because like my memory of Legacy of Kain is specifically tied to magazine ads
yes, same.
and just seeing that full page ad in like a Game Pro and just
Yeah,
thinking, oh, wow, this looks incredible.
dude's
And then
awesome.
I'll flip the page.
Yep.
But they always had like the coolest ads in the game. And I
Hmm.
just never actually got around to playing the shit. So I think maybe like almost say 10 years ago or so, I just watched like both of them. just walkthroughs all the way through. I
Hmm.
was doing that for like 10 years ago. I was doing that with a lot of games. I was just watching the walkthroughs.
I'm not mad at it. Actually,
You
you
got
was
you
a
know you got to be careful because some people be playing like they be ass.
yeah, yeah. But honestly, you was just like a step ahead of the Let's Play community. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So I feel that I would watch those, especially now. Like if the series doesn't go anywhere, that might be the move as far as like getting caught up. Cause I ain't finna probably jump. I mean, it depends on how they play. Like if it's a great old game, I'll play it. If it's like archaic, then it is what
No,
it is.
I still have every intention of going back and playing it just for myself,
Yeah,
just to experience the story myself.
I'm at the point where like that's the thing about some of these. And actually, now that I'm looking at my list, I don't have a ton of stuff here that I wouldn't go back and jump into. Like it's gotten too old or like doesn't feel good in the modern era. But there are games like that. Like there's things that I missed out on that I just feel like the time has passed for. You know what I mean? Which is actually another interesting topic. I wish I'd have brought it up not 50 minutes into the episode so I could like sit and think about some examples of that. But yeah,
Did you play
that's
Destroy
something.
All Humans?
No, I haven't.
That would be one on my list.
Not mad at that. I
Because
appreciate this
I
the
think
style.
Mars Attacks is fucking hilarious, and I feel like that's kind of the same vein.
Oh yeah,
And I
yeah.
just never got around to it, but it just looks like a funny ass game. It's kind of like it reminds me of like what High on Life is now,
Yeah,
and the fact that that's been ruined by you know who.
yeah, yeah. Unfortunately.
Yes, yeah.
Thankfully, you
Yeah.
know, they might be able to work around that, find some new voice actors or whatever. But
I
I
hope
feel
so.
you. I feel you. Like that's what they're doing with Rick and Morty at least. And they sound pretty good. They sound pretty
But
good.
look, man, first listen, I couldn't tell a difference.
I
I know every
if I'm looking for it, I can. You know what I mean?
that's the thing is everybody
Yeah.
was like turning it on and just sticking their ears into the
Right.
fucking headphones, going, I want to see if I can hear it different, so I can complain about it on the
Yeah.
internet. Motherfucker, just watch it. Like you can't really tell.
My thing is I'm on the I hate that too. And I feel like I'm always on the opposite side where I'm like, I want it to sound like the old Rick. Like I'm y'all looking for it to not sound like that nigga. I might hear it, like there's like a word he said that I'm like, oh, heard it on that word, but I'm not looking for that shit. I'm looking to ignore that. Like
Yeah,
and appreciate the part of it where I'm like, yo, you're spot on with this part, this
yeah,
that
because you're
part
talking
here.
about replacing animated characters. Like you can get past live action replacement after a few episodes. Like
Right.
your brain just kind of automatically. But animation, when all you're hearing is the voice, imagine Seth MacFarlane not doing Peter Griffin.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be jarring, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they did a good enough job that I know I will enjoy it. I haven't caught any. I don't know if it's. I think it started like the new season, but I haven't caught anything yet. But yeah, I feel like I would check out Destroy All Humans as well. It kind of reminds me of like a. It kind of always gave me like Matt Groening vibes. Like something about it is a little
Yeah.
Futurama-ish, you know.
Yes, that's a good one.
So I'm not mad at that. I think the last one I want to throw off of my list. Well, I wouldn't. I'll throw out there Splinter Cell just to throw it out there because again,
Really?
yeah, that was again Xbox. Like I was all PlayStation. So I kind of missed out on some of them. Even when they started going multi-platform, I felt like I had missed out on the series. And then
That's
also,
right. You had a 3 when I had the 360, so I caught a lot of
yeah,
that shit
I
that she
did.
didn't.
I did have a 360, but like my shit ran ranked like twice. Like it was terrible. Um, and then I also was a little bit more arcadey back then. Like I wasn't playing super serious shit at the time. I did get into Metal Gear Solid, but Splinter Cell felt very anything that felt tactical. I didn't really want to be on that type of vibe at the time. I do now. That shit's awesome. So I really would like for them
See,
to come out with that new one.
I wouldn't say that Splinter Cell was tactical because like Metal Gear
Yeah.
Solid felt 100% tactical
Mm.
in how you moved around. Splinter Cell still felt like a video game.
And
And
I see that.
I
Yep.
think that's where like the stealth genre really kicked off. Where a lot of people say, well, it started with Metal Gear. Like it's kind of not the same.
Mm.
Like Splinter Cell was the first one to make it feel like a video game and not
Well,
like a movie experience.
so it's interesting that you say that. So I agree with you that Splinter Cell is definitely not like super tactical like how I was thinking. The stealth aspects are more like super spyish than like something realistic or whatever. You're not
Yeah,
out here Black Hawk down in motherfuckers, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
Metal Gear Solid is also super. I mean, it's. I don't know if you saw that recent footage of Metal Gear Solid Delta, like the remake of
Yeah, I did. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. That's the most like realistic, gritty, grimy it looked ever. And even then I can see all the way through that shit. When they put it up side by side with three, I realized why three appealed to me where like a Splinter Cell didn't. Is because for as like, oh, you're this fucking rogue agent crawling through the mud in the woods and fucking killing snakes. I'm like, okay, when you kill the snake, it makes this boom sound like, like the rations pop up like a fucking video game. Like
Yeah,
everything is
because
gamey as
Kojima
fuck.
is still,
It's
yeah,
all arcadey
because
as fuck. Yeah.
yeah, Kojima is gonna still get that in there. But I'm talking about like the aesthetic of the game.
Exactly. Yeah. So you feel
Yeah, it
like
was
Metal Gear
just,
had a more like tag like that type of aesthetic.
it was like it's like a straight man in a buddy comedy. You know what I mean? Like put Nick
Okay,
Nolte next to Eddie Murphy.
yeah. I
Well,
get that. I get that.
like
Metal
it
Gear.
felt more serious in a lot of his execution. The Splinter Cell literally just like to me felt more like a video game. Metal Gear Solid has always felt like a cinematic experience that you can control.
I can definitely understand that perspective for sure. Splinter Cell, I have the total opposite like vision, but I can see why like the fault in my viewing of Splinter Cell. I will say this: Metal Gear is the goofiest fucking shit you'll ever play.
It's so no
That's
everything Kojima did so fucking
yeah.
ridiculous. Like
It's like self-serious in a way that like even the serious shit is like okay, I guess like this
yeah,
is kind of
yeah.
weird.
Because
But that's
that
what makes
dude
it awesome.
throw a 20-minute cutscene in the middle of the shit. Like
Facts.
you know,
The the end of
no
Metal Gear Solid
commercials.
4 is a straight up. I mean, it's like movie length, like possibly legit. Like it's like an hour long. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, man. So yeah, it's I mean, it's definitely that. There's still it is a video game, obviously,
Yeah, but
but yeah, the like Splinter Cell. I feel like I could cheat Splinter Cell.
okay.
I don't
I
feel
feel
like
this
I
one.
could cheat Metal Gear.
Yeah,
I
you
mean, it's
going
goofy, and you can still cheese it a little bit, but it don't feel right. You know
you're
what I'm
gonna
saying?
be you're gonna be. I'm if I'm playing around with the game or doing some goofy shit. Like I don't know. I think we both might need to play a little bit more Metal Gear and Splinter Cell respectively because I mean you can
Oh,
fuck
I
a
played the
person
shit out
up.
of Metal Gear.
But like you can
Don't
distract a
wait.
motherfucker with a
Which
bikini photo. You know what I mean? Like that
the
type of
only Metal Gear I did not play in full was two.
okay. You should play two. Two is fucking fantastic. Two is fantastic. I
Yeah,
don't know,
that's
man.
the only one.
It's so goddamn goofy. It's crazy. Like it's
No,
so
yeah, it's I
cheesy.
know it's absolutely
Yeah,
goofy
like
and
but
ridiculous and campy as fuck.
yeah, but it's like the vibe hits differently. Like the way that they present their shit is like an anime. Like it takes itself about as serious as an anime. And sometimes anime
Mm,
takes itself fucking serious. So
yeah, it'd still
that's
be
fine.
fucking incredible.
Absolutely, man. So does Metal Gear, man. And actually, for my last one that I really wanted to bring up, I've always wished that I got into Monster Hunter. That's a series that's really interesting, but every time I
I
pick up
can't
the
do it.
controller, I know, but me neither. Like I cannot get with the way it plays. Like
Exactly. That's the thing that throws me off. This is just something
yeah,
about like
the
the attacks have to hit to me. Like
yeah, like the pacing of it, the feel of it, and I know if I can get it, like there's a rhythm to it. I know that there is. I've seen people fuck shit up. I know that you're right. The attacks are not like chunky enough for my liking.
yeah,
But I can get past that if I'm finessing. Like if I'm like out here, it feels like a game that you can both Devil May Cry, flip around and fuck shit up and use all your skills at the right timing, but also very strategic and like, you using every weakness that you got against this particular monster and like trapping them and plotting shit out. So
you
I
know what's
know that's a
wild
game
is
might be cool.
I don't fuck with Monster Hunter like that, but I love
Mm.
Dauntless.
That's
It's
crazy.
basically
Like
the same fucking game.
Dauntless is legit a clone.
It's
Like,
just yeah, it's basically the same fucking game.
yeah.
But
And I
something
played a
about
little bit of that.
Dauntless just hit like me, Jers, I think Hitman. We was all playing it when it came
Mm.
out because we was like we looking for something else to play. Niggas can just hop on.
Yeah.
And I was enjoying the fuck out of it. And then I tried to fire up Monster Hunter World because I'm like, it's basically the same thing. And I started playing that shit, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, man, like the presentation is intimidating. I know Monster Hunter World is like the approachable one, but That shit is still,
Still,
yeah, like
it's,
it's crazy.
it's like, hey,
It's
you don't want to deal with 100 things. Here's 98.
right. Facts, facts. Like, and it's just worth it's worth it. I know it is. Like that game is probably a moment, and I want to get into it before the inevitable sequel like gets announced because
Right,
that's probably going to come. And those monsters on like PS5 and Xbox Series X are going to look crazy.
man.
I can't wait even just for somebody that doesn't. It's a series. Sometimes I'm just glad series exists. Like that joint made its own
Yeah,
genre.
and that's basically what it comes down to. Because like there you go, made its own genre.
Right.
That's the type of shit you kind of need in gaming. Like we can't get 600 first person shooters,
Facts.
400
Facts.
RPGs. It's good to have some other shit, man. It's good to have some different shit, even
Yeah,
if you don't fuck with it.
exactly. And it's always good to have a open mind about these types of games so that you can make a list like this. Maybe jump into some. You know, there's games I've jumped into in like the 11th hour, the eighth entry or whatever, and fallen in love with. So, I think that's a pretty good place to kind of start wrapping this one up. Did you have anything else you want to throw out there off your list?
No, nothing else on the list. I will say this: give us Returnal 2. I haven't even finished Returnal
Thanks.
1, but give us
Me
Returnal 2.
neither. I didn't finish it either because I got it right before God of War Ragnarok came out. Um,
Yeah, so,
so
yeah,
that yeah, but I love that game and the loop is crazy.
yeah.
So
I
yes, I
can't
will.
wait, nigga. That is the most unintentionally scary game I've ever played in my life, and I
Bro,
enjoy it.
like
Like
yeah,
that whole the first person shit when you walking through the motherfucking
the
shit.
house. Oh
I
my god,
I
like
swear to God, something was finna jump out at me. I was walking through like
if all they needed, honest to
nothing.
God, I feel like it's because it's not like how the game is supposed to work. Like in
Yeah.
Resident Evil, I'm expecting a jump scare or whatever. If they jump scared me in that jump, just like one of the 6 times you do the shit, it will
Fuck.
fuck me up. Like
I
that
would have
shit would
thrown the
actually,
controller through the TV.
like, it would have been a problem.
Like
Just
you do you follow Rashad Stark on Twitter, right?
yeah, oh yeah, that's my man.
You be seeing
Yeah.
what niggas be trying was scared of him on the street. He be
Yeah.
wilding out. That would have been me. If they
Oh my
jump
god.
scared me in that shit, that would have been me.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, them and streamers like that are what makes it worth it.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
I love watching his
Absolutely.
shit.
Man,
Shits be having
listen.
me dying.
You know what? That's a good place to end this. Follow my man Rashad Stark on Twitter. Go check out these
Facts.
streams. Good content right there. That's a good guy. But on that note, before we end it, I do want to say this. Rest in peace to my man Matthew Perry. That sucks. We gotta give
Yeah,
it.
that is rough. You know what I am seeing though, and it's very interesting. Since this news has dropped, so a lot of niggas admitting they was
Watch
watching
fucking
Friends when
Friends.
y'all was out here talking
Bruh,
about it's a rip off of Living Single. I ain't fuck with it,
bruh.
man. It's a lot of you motherfuckers. Hey, just living your truth, dog. It's okay.
I've
I
always
love The
loved
Office.
Friends. Yes, we all love, but I've always
Yeah,
loved Friends. I've
ain't
always
nothing
and
wrong
I
with some white humor if you think it's funny. I think Seinfeld's
listen.
kind of funny.
Seinfeld is fucking hilarious. Once
Not
I
gonna fight
got
me.
it, once I got
Yeah,
it,
nigga, like what you
fucking
like it openly.
Friends is good. Chandler is me, and that's why this shit kind of fucks me up. Like that guy is awkward and nerdy, and everything he says is a stupid joke, and he can't turn it off. And I relate to that. Like that's very much myself. Like
I've never, you know this. I've never watched Friends.
yeah,
You
yeah.
just described me.
You feel me? Like that's his character on that show. Like cannot stop with the sarcasm. It's that type of stuff. And he was a very important like character for me. So shout out to Matthew Perry. I know he was going through a lot before he passed. Sad story,
Facts,
but
yeah. Yeah.
shout out to his family and take care of your people, man. Enjoy your life. Cherish every day because you never know what's going to happen. And play more video games, man. Like
Yeah.
and enjoy the things that you love because this is something that we love and it's just as valid as everything else.
And if you
And
need help, go get it.
please do reach out to people that care about you. Reach out to the resources that we have. There's people there for you, So on that note, we'll go ahead and bring this episode to a close. I'm Kendall. This is Tony, and make sure you keep gaming. Take care.